Today, the topic of my presentation is called From the Inside Out. By the end of this presentation, you'll know exactly what I mean when I say that. Like you said, I'm Taylor Stoecklin. My company is Grounded Chiropractic. Let's dive right in. So, we've been indoctrinated in society to where we think that the needs and the outcomes and what creates health is all driven from the outside in. And there's a pill, potion, or lotion for every ill that's out there, and that claims to be the cure. But is it really? So, just some quick facts. Pharmaceutical industry, they spend billions of dollars, over $6 billion in direct advertising per year. There are over 48% of all Americans have been on at least one prescription drug in the last 30 days. So that's just prescriptions. It's not talking over-the-counter stuff. That's the heavier stuff. Over 3.7 billion prescription drugs were prescribed last year. And other things like the supplement industry has been booming for the last several years. Go to any local grocery store, you'll see that keeps expanding and expanding. But what do we have to show for it? So the United States consistently ranks as one of the poorest countries in the developed world in healthcare. We're actually number 27. And so the question is it really creating health? Or is its paradigm slightly off? And so it's not a bag on them because they provide a really fantastic service of keeping you alive when you need it. So we have to recognize it for what it is. It's sick care, it's crisis care, it's things that are going to help save your life, but it doesn't help you beyond that. That's where its limitation is. So just said a couple of negative facts, but one positive light is the United States has the highest 5-year cancer survival rate in the world. So they do an amazing job at what they do, and on the flip side, we need something else as far as what's creating that health. So we have to ask ourselves, is that headache because of a lack of Tylenol? Or is your high blood pressure because of a lack of an ACE inhibitor or beta blocker? Is your anxiety because of a lack of lavender essential oil? No. So, what's creating that, rather than how do we mediate that from the outside? And so, like I said, the United States on healthcare, really, despite our massive amounts of consumption and expenses, we really don't have a whole lot to show for it. So, we have to understand and ask, where does health actually come from? How do we create it? So this paradigm of outside in presupposes that the body is insufficient, that it needs this additional resources from the outside in to create and maintain health. And I'm here to offer an alternative to that. So it's really from the outside in, and what I'm going to talk about is from the inside out. And so to really grasp this, you have to start at the beginning. So it's kind of hard to see everything on this probably, but in the very first couple weeks of life, so let's even further back. 2 cells join, they become 1. Life begins. Cells start dividing. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. In 9 months, you have a baby. And that's a miracle. And that didn't happen randomly. It was happening by design. There is an inborn, innate intelligence, a wisdom that knew how to put that thing together, and it knows what to do and how to do it because it created it. And so in the first couple weeks of life, you get this thing called the primitive streak. And that ends up developing into this thing called a notochord, into a rudimentary nervous system, and then your nervous system is actually the first system that shows up before all the other organs and glands and everything else. It's the first thing. And so why do you think that is? Because it's really important. So that innate intelligence uses that nervous system as a conduit to send and receive and coordinate its messages. And so the nervous system, what does it do? Exactly that. It's that conduit, it's that messenger network system. It's made up of your brain, your spinal cord, and those spinal nerves that are coming out. And we kind of break it up into those compartments, but it's really important to understand that it is one cohesive unit. It's one thing. You can think of it like a brainal cord, or something like that. It's all connected, it's all one contiguous system. It's working as a single coherent unit. And it's coordinating things like your heart, your eyes, your limbs, your teeth, your guts, your intestines, your respiratory system, your immune system. It is working, making sure all those different pieces are functioning harmoniously together. So it is what's connecting all of it. So if you have a dark room, do you try to gather up all the darkness, sweep it away under the rug, or do you turn on the light? So we all know it, right? You turn on the light. So just as you can't fight the darkness is not actually the entity, but rather the lack of it. It's a lack of light. So similarly, health is the entity, disease, sickness, ultimately is the lack of that health. So rather than try to fight off that darkness, my goal is to get back to the source and turn on the light. And so how do I do that? I work with the spine and the nervous system. So like I said, that innate intelligence is using that nervous system to create a health, to send and receive those messages. So if the stomach needs something, or the liver, or the pancreas, or the kidneys, what's telling it what to do? What's telling it how to get those signals coordinated from here to there? It's your nervous system. It's our lifeline. So what I do is I work and I look to see if there's any compromise in the nervous system. And whenever I find it's present, I remove that compromise to allow the normal functioning of the nervous system to take place. I restore its function back up to par, and then step back and watch life happen. It's pretty amazing. And whenever we can get this body working the right way, particularly the nervous system, you get this thing called health. And so it's extremely important to take care of. Although we're not really told about this in school. So I advise each and every person, whether you're sick, suffering, or if you're feeling great, get your nervous system checked. I just had someone this past week who had been feeling great and had something that's developing, and she's got to take care of that now. Don't want to go into details, but you never know. You can't really feel those kind of things. So whenever we can get that to work in the right way, true healing takes place. And that happens from the inside out. And so this thing, this beautiful innate intelligence, knows what to do, where to do it, how, why, because it created it. And if we can get out of the way, remove any interference, and get that light to shine as bright as it possibly can, then that life, that potential, has that opportunity to thrive. And it doesn't need any assistance, just no interference to its function. And so, love this quote. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's from this guy, B.J. Palmer. He's known as the developer of chiropractic. His father is the discoverer. And so he says, the beauty of chiropractic is the fact that it works with natural means. It puts nothing new into the body, nor does it take away any natural gland or organ. It simply releases life forces within the body, sets free rivulets of energy over nerves, and lets nature do her work in the natural manner. So once again, rather than trying to speed something up, or to slow it down, to prop it up artificially with some sort of crutch, rather, it is to restore normal function, to step back, watch the body do what it's meant to do. And that is it for me, guys.
All right. A few minutes for questions. Questions for Taylor?
You talked about kind of the beginnings, and I'm fascinated with the sacrum as being the last bone to decompose in the body. Do you have any thoughts on the sacrum?
He really works with the top.
It's all connected, right? So the sacrum, it is your tailbone, right? It's in the middle of your pelvis. And it is one of the two anchor points of the central nervous system. So there's connections at the top and the bottom. And it's really important. I mean, it has subtle motion that's important to have, things like walking, for instance. But I'd say it's major. It is a center of gravity point, so there is, from a structural standpoint, a lot of importance there. And then from a function standpoint, it is one of those anchor points. So you can think of the body as like a tension framework. So tensegrity, if you've ever heard of Mr. Fuller. So the tension within a structure is what gives it its integrity. We're pretty much the same way. Otherwise, we'd just be a bag of bones on the floor. But the nervous system and its global tone, the way it's able to carry those messages, can be affected by gross postural distortions. One of those anchor points, think of it like a key on the guitar string. So if this comes forward and you're stretching those out from the 2 anchor points, that's going to affect overall nerve function. So it's definitely something important. I do work with that area as well. Just I have a lot more focus up here.
Great.
Yeah. We'll kind of work our way around. I think she was first.
So tell me, what do you do up here?
Yeah, so I label myself as an upper cervical chiropractor. So the cervical spine is your neck, and uppermost portions of that, top 2 bones specifically, the atlas C1 and the axis C2. So there's a lot of different reasons why I chose to work there. One of them is from this guy here. That's BJ Palmer down there. That's me. So
I can tell by your forearms.
So this area is the most vital point in your entire body. So the spine, I didn't bring a little model here, but it has interlocking joints. So I can twist and go as far as I can. It's not painful. There's bone on bone. It protects what's inside, right? The nervous system is completely encapsulated by bone. It's really important. And so up here, we don't have that. It's mainly muscles and ligaments. So from a very structural standpoint, it is the weak link in the chain. So if there's a force that comes into the body, it's going to travel up and cause damage at the weak link, which is here. Every nerve is also meeting at the base of the skull, so you can think of this point like the main of your house. So there's a lot of people out there who do a lot of good work, helping people get comfortable and working on getting water out of the basement. But I'm the guy who's going to the whole room. So I'm a whole room kind of guy.
Like I said, you do adjustments here?
I do. So yeah, the way I adjust, it's no popping, twisting, or cracking. It's
Faithful.
a little bit, but the idea is I figure out the most constructive way to introduce a force to the body. I like to describe it as an invitation to the body. Rather than me saying, like, I know where this thing needs to go, I don't. For perfect function for you versus for me, I don't know where exactly that point is going to be at greatest ease, but your body does. And I know how to introduce a force to create this oscillation to kind of free it up and allow your body to set it where it needs to go. And that's exactly what happens. So that's kind of how I adjust it. Can give you more details on that.
All right, so we have 1 minute for Robin, which is
Should do. I mean, I really understand from your presentation a lot more of what he's been doing. I've been going to him for a little bit, and I always call it magic, but I think I'm understanding a little bit more. It's not perhaps magic, and it's honestly, he just touches things, and you know, I don't know, my pain goes away, or yeah, it's just, yeah, I can't recommend him enough.
Yeah, so I kind of 2-tier it. Some of it's a little bit more on the structural side, which is, I would say this is a little bit more of a structural thing. And then the other part is what is called tonal chiropractic. So it's working with the tone of the nervous system to create an input to the nervous system first, so that it can change its organization, to change the muscles, to move the bones, to move the structure. Just a couple of different approaches. Yeah?
Is it similar to network chiropractic?
Tonal work?
Yeah.
Network is an example of a type of tonal work.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you very much, Taylor. Thanks.